So hello everyone, welcome to another lecture, and this is the lecture 4 of our stereochemistry course. So in this particular lecture we are talking about the enantiomers and diastereomers. Remember in our first lecture we are talking about the stereochemistry have the further classification of enantiomers and diastereomers. So today we will discuss about that. Okay, so first let's talk about the enantiomers. Enantiomers are the type of stereoisomers when the two molecules are non-superimposable mirror image of each other. In my previous class we are talking about that what is the non-superimposable mirror image, what is the meaning of that particular part. So if you have missed and directly come to this particular part, so I will highly suggest you to go back our previous lecture, that is lecture 3, and understand this what the non-superimposable mirror image is. Okay. So now here in this particular thing you can find the same picture I have used in my previous lecture, like how our hand become a non-superimposable mirror image. Now enantiomers have their certain properties. First, that it will show a non-superimposable mirror image, that the mirror image are non-superimposable, and the enantiomers having identical physical and chemical properties in achiral environment. It is a very important thing and nobody will tell this usually. Like enantiomers shown identical physical and chemical properties in achiral environments whenever the enantiomers present the chiral environment showing different thing. And actually this particular property will be used when we are doing the resolution of chiral compound, especially in HPLC, where basically there is a chiral column was there which can be used to separate out the enantiomers. So this is a very important point, that enantiomers shown the identical physical and chemical property in achiral environment. And also it will be shows opposite optical activities, like if this particular compound will show a positive or clockwise deflection of plane polarized light, then this particular molecule must have to show a negative or anti-clockwise deflection of plane polarized light. Often have different biological activities. Why it is so? Because we are already discussed that enantiomers have shown identical physical and chemical properties in achiral environment, but in our body there's a mostly chiral molecules is there present in our bodies. So when it will be interact with those particular chiral compounds, so depending upon that it will often shows different biological activities. And that's why in my first lecture we have talking about the thalidomide disasters, and this is the main reason, because there it has been found that in our body chiral system this particular R thalidomide will use this particular drug, whereas the S isomer will use a tetragenic effect. So this why it is shown different biological activities, and that's why in pharmaceutical industry chirality with proper enantiomers was very important. That's why people are dealing with proper enantiomer, like either R or S enantiomer, depending upon the biological activities. Okay, now this particular enantiomer, there another thing is it doesn't have any plane of symmetry or POS. Okay, and also enantiomer always chiral in nature. So this is the properties of enantiomers. Now let's talking about the diastereomers. Diastereomers are a type of stereoisomer where two or more molecules have the same bonding connectivity, like they are all stereoisomers but not a mirror image of each other and not superimposable. Okay, also diastereomer have certain properties, like first of all that it is a not mirror image, no mirror image relationship in diastereomer, whereas the enantiomer having non-superimposable mirror image relationship, point to be care. Okay, second thing is minimum 2 or more stereogenic center present for a diastereomer for become a diastereomer. And diastereomer certainly shows different physical and chemical property in terms of any medium, achiral medium, chiral medium, it will show different physical and chemical properties. And also doesn't necessarily have opposite optical activities. Some kind of thing that will be shown that the diastereomer have no optical activity. Okay, and also it has different reactivities and properties in all environment irrespective of any, and diastereomer can be chiral or achiral. Like in this particular example you can see that these two are diastereomer in nature, however this contains a plane of symmetry, and since it is a plane of symmetry present, then this diastereomer become an achiral. However, this particular diastereomer we can find that this having no plane of symmetry, so it is a chiral but it is a diastereomers. Okay, so in this particular figure in my right, you can find a very interesting observation. Like when this will become now these two will become non-superimposable mirror image relationship. Okay, so we can say this is called a enantiomers. However, this particular is no mirror image relationship but contains the same bonding connectivity. So this will be a diastereomer of this. So these two are diastereomer each other and these two are diastereomer each other, but these two molecules are enantiomers each other. So this figure is very, very important and you should note about this particular thing. Okay, now what is the vague relationship of enantiomer and diastereomer? So just remember this particular part for the time being. When we are discussing about the absolute configuration or naming of chiral centers, then you will be more clearer about this. Now when a molecule become RR, then their mirror image should be SS, non-superimposable mirror image. So these two become enantiomers. But if there is a one chiral center has been changed, that is the bonding connectivity is changed, RS, then it is called a diastereomeric nature. Similarly, if a molecule is RS, the non-superimposable mirror image should be in a SR absolute configuration. So this will become enantiomers, and this two is obviously again diastereomers. So just remember this particular chart and keep it anywhere in your notebook or anywhere something. So you will never forget this particular thing and it will be very much important. So as an example, you can find that this will be enantiomer, diastereomer. Now there is a homework that you have to, when I will tell you or I will teach you the absolute how to determine absolute configuration, you will determine all of the configuration here and write in the comment box, and whenever it will be correct configurations, then I will give, pin that particular comment. Okay, now there is a very interesting thing, that is a meso compound. Now a meso compound is a type of stereoisomer that contains multiple chiral center, but it is achiral as a whole due to an internal plane of symmetry. Like here we can already discuss about this particular group. There is a mesotartaric acid. So this particular group has the chiral centers and also there is a different group attached to it. However, this particular group contains a plane of symmetry, internal plane of symmetry, that can be mirrored this particular molecules, okay, or it will cut into two divide equal half, so that will become a achiral molecule, and this type of molecule has been called a meso compound. So meso compound, there is a certain characteristic was there. First of all, there are multiple chiral center. Meso compound have two or more chiral center present, and meso compound contains an internal plane of symmetry, and meso compound is achiral in nature, and due to the achiral in nature, it will be a optically inactive molecule. It is not rotate plane polarized light. So I hope that it will be clear. First we are talking about enantiomers. Enantiomers having non-superimposable mirror image, whereas the diastereomer have no mirror image relationship, and the meso compound is a type of stereoisomer which contain multiple chiral center, but it is achiral due to a internal plane of symmetry. So in the next lecture we are talking about representation of chiral compound. So representation of chiral compound suggests that chiral compound is a 3D molecule, like all the stereoisomer. We can, from the lecture 1 itself, we are talking about that the chiral compounds are stereochemistry mainly a 3D chemistry. Now there is certain way to represent that 3D chemistry into our 2D plane, that is our copy or notebook, you can say. Okay, so what should be the representation technique of a chiral compound in our 2D surface, that will be discussed in our next class. So thank you for listening this particular class. We will meet on the next class where I will be discussing that the different representation process of the chiral compound. So thank you.